It's a very meditative experience to be out here. We just have the sounds of nature with the birds and the breeze. And it's a very calming place compared to the loud city life that we've left behind.
Welcome to the Paddling Portage podcast. It's raining outside. Spectacular fall podcast weather.
It is podcast weather. You know, weather has such a impact on a Boundary Waters trip. Sort of can set a mood. I was just out on the Granite River, and the first 2 days were hot. The kind where when you stop for lunch, you strip down and jump in the water. And then again, when you get to your campsite at the end of the day. And then the last 2 days were multiple layers and the fleeces and huddled up over dinner at night, and the thought of getting in the water was actually warmer than the air, so the thought of capsizing, paddling across the big waves of Saginaw wasn't even daunting. Mm-hmm. Weather plays a big role in a place where you're going to be in the elements. I think that's one of the most powerful things about being out in the wilderness and the Boundary Waters is it's a powerful place that really can make you think about life, and people go out there to do that for recreation, also for wellness, and also for development and personally and connection with other people. You get all those things wrapped up in this place with moody weather and temperament, and today's episode's kind of about that.
And after a quick word from our sponsors, we are going to have a group take us into the Boundary Waters.
My name is Bonnie Schutte, and I am the campus director up at Chickawauk Museum and Nature Center. We are located 55 miles up the Gunflint Trail on beautiful Saginaw Lake. We're open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. through October 19th. We have a watercraft exhibit building, and in that building houses old boats, motors, and canoes, and kind of tells the story of how people traveled around the waterways from the earlier days to present day. We have a fabulous interpretive cabin, and that depicts what a cabin might have looked like on site back in the early days of 1950s when the resort was ran as a business. We also have a converted trapper shack exhibit, and in that building is something that maybe you would have found in the woods back in the old days when the trappers would have been traveling in the wintertime to maintain their trap line. A little bit of history about the Anishinaabe families, how they trapped in the earlier days up in the Saginaw Lake area. We hope you'll come up and enjoy and explore the history of the Gunflint Trail.
Support for this episode of the podcast comes from Borderland Lodge, inviting listeners to unwind, explore, and create lasting memories against the backdrop of the Boundary Waters. They're offering pet-friendly cabins, lakeside lodge rooms, and cozy weekend dining along the shores of Gunflint Lake. You can find more about Borderland at their website, borderlandlodge.com. Also, check out their Instagram page for some of the incredible Italian pasta meals that Steph is making up at Borderland. Oh my goodness, check it out, Borderland Lodge on Instagram and Facebook, or their website, borderlandlodge.com.
When we made it back to camp after our day trip, it was drizzling a bit, still windy, but that did not keep our spirits down. We had women take their shirts off, plunge right into the lake with a woo! Wild and free.
She went down to the sea, put her toes in the water, watch the waves roll in, she could feel it. She went up to the hills, walked their shoulders. With the wind to her back, she could feel that heart beat.
My name is Brianna Cook. I am one of the co-owners of Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats. I'm here at Birchwood Wilderness Camp at the end of the Gunflint Trail and up the Seagull River. We just said goodbye to our first group of overnight retreaters, spending 2 nights in the Boundary Waters on Lake Saginaw. We have a group of staff here getting ready to welcome standard retreaters. What that means is a group of women will be coming for the next 3 nights to spend their days playing and yogaing, meditating, laughing, hiking, canoeing here at Birchwood Wilderness Camp and in the Boundary Waters Wilderness Canoe area for the day. And then we also will be helping a second group of overnighters for a Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness trip. And they will be departing in a couple days here, getting ready for a South Lake trip.
Hi, I'm Ashley Bredemus, owner and director here at Birchwood Wilderness Camp. And since 2020, we have tacked on a women's yoga retreat at the end of our summer camp session. And that is all thanks to Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats. We started with them in 2020. What a great time to start a community event, but it really was just so effortless and serendipitous the way it started. They were looking for a location and we popped up and said yes, and didn't have a yoga deck built, but built one the winter before, and they showed up and it was a wonderful event. It was everything that I had dreamed of in terms of hosting a group of women here to do yoga. And every year since, we have built upon that. We've added in day trips, and then we added in overnight trips. And now this year, we are sending multi-day trips into the Boundary Waters, some right from our docks into Saginaw Lake, and some down out of South Lake, just down the trail by Gunflint Lake. And we're so excited to share a sneak peek into that with you. It has been such a honor to have these women here because the values surprisingly align really well with what we do with our campers. Apparently, it does not matter if you are a 7-year-old boy here at summer camp looking for adventure and self-discovery and community. If you're a 70-year-old woman, those things apply to you too. It's amazing how this camp and the Boundary Waters will really hold you in whatever way you need to be held in what you're looking for. And that's why we do what we do. And we're so excited to be here again with Boreal Bliss this summer in the Boundary Waters.
Hi, my name's Megan. This is my 3rd year on a Boreal Bliss yoga retreat to the Boundary Waters. It's just insane to me that I get to be here. The 2 guides, Shannon and Elizabeth, so amazing. I've had such an amazing time learning more about the wilderness and being with women who also are learning more about the wilderness. I'm glad to breathe in the wilderness and be with nature, the trees, the animals. It's just amazing to paddle and be with women who are also adventurous and want to try new things. It really makes me have gratitude for everything that I have back at home. And it's just amazing to live like people lived a really long time ago. And it's a really special place to me, and I hope to keep returning to the Boundary Waters.
Shannon here. We are paddling across South Lake in the rain, and the rain sounds incredible hitting the water like thousands of tiny little diamonds. And I'm thinking about 2 things that stand out of why I love coming to the woods. One is at home we live in a consumer world where we have to have all these things, but when you come out here, it's perspective of all you need is what you can carry on your back. We need very little to be happy and thriving. And 2, when in the real world we operate where our nervous system is constantly challenged. There's stressors, there's chaos, there's schedules, and we live in a heightened state with our nervous system. Whereas out here, that nervous system can become calm, where you don't have to follow a schedule or a timeline or anything, really. You can move at your own pace, and you're surrounded by a natural environment that is naturally calming as well. Our group decided to have a base camp on South Lake and do a day trip into Rose Lake. And we paddled against the wind the whole way there. But we sang songs from old camp songs to The Sound of Music to anything in between. And spirits were high. We stopped at a campsite for lunch, and we made it to the falls on Rose Lake, and we hiked up the infamous Stairway Portage, and checked out the waterfall. We also hit up the Border Out Trail a bit for a hike up to see a scenic view of the entire Rose Lake and beyond.
Elizabeth with Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats, and we are here connecting with the women that we are on retreat with and just kind of seeing how they've changed and how they're connecting and how they're challenging themselves as they have been the last 2 days. Has been such an incredible experience where we can see growth happen literally overnight with these women, not just in their skills and learning new techniques with just being in the wild, but also just connection with each other. There's something when we have this grounding connection in nature that really just sets everything else aside. We're not worried about anything we have going on at home. We're just here to be who we really are innately to be. We are just wild, happy women in the wilderness.
Daphne. And I'm out here in the middle of the Boundary Waters right now with 8 other beautiful women, and we're just having the Wild Women experience. I get to come out here in a way that I never could on my own, and I feel safe and cared for because we're all working together to have this amazing experience, paddling, portaging, just being in the wilderness somewhere peaceful and meaningful to me.
Almost 50 years ago, a group of friends met at a diner and began to organize a movement. They formed a group dedicated to preserving the pristine waters and forests of northeastern Minnesota. Through grassroots organizing, they helped pass the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness Act, which protected the Boundary Waters for future generations. Today, that organization, Friends of the Boundary Waters, continues its work to protect, preserve, and restore this cherished wilderness. Whether it's through fighting toxic mining proposals at the edge of the Boundary Waters, or introducing the next generation to the wonders of the BWCA, our strength is in our members. It is in you. To learn more and find out how you can join this community today, please visit friends-bwca.org.
Hello, I'm Bear Paulson from North Star Canoes. This is titled Minnesota is Unique. Sven and Ole got stuck here and never left. We have more Scandinavians per capita than the countries clustered around the Baltic Sea. We are the land of lutefisk and lefse. Rocky and Bullwinkle added to our uncommon fame. Frostbite Falls is the icebox of the nation. I cheered when it was below zero for the Super Bowl in Minneapolis a while back. We needed that to cement our frigid reputation. Minnesota is also unique in having 3 major watersheds. From the BWCA, paddlers can go north to Hudson Bay, or east to the Atlantic, or with some portaging south down the Mississippi. North Star is unique too. We build canoes with an incredible blend of seaworthiness and efficiency. Seaworthiness means you'll be safe when the wind kicks up. Efficiency lets you get where you want to go. North Stars are easy to paddle on glassy days, and safe to paddle on rough ones. Rent a North Star at nearly all the BWCA outfitters, or purchase a new one from retailers nationwide.
This is Brianna Cook, co-owner of Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats, helping our group prepare for the retreats here at Birchwood Wilderness Camp and in the Boundary Waters, as well as our group that will be departing for 2 nights on South Lake in the Boundary Waters. I think what's unique about this experience, what our focus is in terms of Birchwood Wilderness Camp and Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats, is that we get to practice yoga, mindfulness, and meditation in a wilderness setting. A big aspect of yoga that we focus on at Boreal Bliss Yoga Retreats is that yoga is more than maybe what you think about when you see yoga, such as like the postures or a yoga mat or certain pants that you need to look a certain way. We really strip that down, take that away, and focus on all the other elements of yoga. We don't bring mats into the Boundary Waters. We practice postures on rocks, in the grass. We focus more on mindfulness, meditation, and breath work, pranayama, than we do so much on as much as postures, looking a certain way. The focus is more so on treating yourself well, treating the environment, your group well. Being kind to yourself and others is a big ethical piece of yoga. We also focus on the breathing aspects, moving in a healthy way, caring for your body, making sure that you're caring for the environment as well. And a big piece of this that really is the magic touch is pratyahara. Pratyahara is a Sanskrit term that translates to withdrawal of the senses or withdrawal from external stimuli, and more of a deepening of an internal connection with yourself.
Shannon here. We cross paths with other groups of women, but it's so rare. And every time we do, it's like this, the sisterhood of, what? You're a group of all women? Because primarily travelers through the Boundary Waters are groups of men or a mix of men and women. So an all-women's group is rare, and it's been honor and a privilege to guide this group of 9 women. And I'm understanding that some feel like there's a huge barrier of entry to be able to explore this place. And I appreciate that and am thankful that I get to help women overcome that barrier. And some have even started traveling here on their own because they've gained the confidence and the skills to navigate this wild place. When doing yoga back at home, it's satisfying. It's wonderful. Try to do it on a regular basis. But when you do yoga out here after a full day of moving your entire body head to toe, where every single muscle hurts, yoga hits different. And it's truly satisfying to recognize what your muscles did to help you travel from point A to point B. We have a group of 9 women currently paddling down Rose Lake in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. We are all women who have very busy lives back at home, and escaping to the wilderness feels like a sense of peace and calm as we leave our to-do list behind and can have the freedom to sleep when we want to, wake up when we want to, eat when we're hungry, rest when we need rest, and go with the flow of nature.
They could feel that heartbeat drum.
We found that when you arrive to Birchwood Wilderness Camp, you're at the end of the Gunflint Trail in a boat ride or canoe up the river, that a lot of this external stimuli is automatically stripped away, and that can be really powerful for many of us to find a deeper sense of peace, connection, belonging, maybe uncovering or restoring pieces of yourself that have been a little lost or stripped away from day-to-day living, that you uncover and find once again. and celebrate. A lot of women feel empowered to come back to themselves when they're here at Birchwood, and then they take it a little step further even when they're traveling into the Boundary Waters for these overnight trips. You only have what you need, just the basics in your canoe, and it's an even deeper focus of connection within yourself.
You caught a trout, but then it got away on a walk in the rain, got caught in a hailstorm, and then it stopped, and you could feel that heartbeat come here in the tree.
There are few things we love more than being a part of folks' stories. A big point of this platform is to share your stories. Brianna's story. What Brianna did was so great because it's a gift to you, the listeners. It's a gift to us to be able to hear this experience. Brianna took that so seriously that she actually came and sat down with you, Joe, and I at the Paddle and Portage office, asked questions about how to do this well, took notes about how people should introduce themselves and how they should share the experience. And today's episode was what came out of it. More of you are welcome to do that.
As you said, that's really what we created the platform for, was to share stories from the wilderness, not just our own adventures. Antics. There's part of that. Sure, that enters the podcast now and again. But also just like have a space to share these types of stories. Brianna and her crew and the group that went out, and other stories we've shared in the past. That group that did a sober trip last year up through Sag and down and around with Tony Jones. And sometimes we even get involved in those stories, like with Scattering the Ashes on Brule, the Jim and the Vietnam veteran and the Huey pilot. Like that is all part of these, like, reach out to us. That's the main thing. First of all, is just, hey, we listen to the podcast, or we discovered the podcast, or somebody told us about it, and here's our story. Because from there, either we can kind of tag along with you and be part of that experience, or you can record, as we heard today, and document your own trip. That's what the PMP podcast is here for. Like, if you've got an adventure you're doing, it doesn't have to be sort of an organized thing like Brianna and her group was, or like Jim's was with Scattering the Ashes. It could just be, this is like our 10th year in a row going, or we're just going for the sake of going. There's ample opportunity. Every trip to the Boundary Waters could be an episode of the podcast.
There's magic in every trip. If you have eyes to see it and are inspired to use your words to share it, let us know.
Reach out to me, Joe, at paddleandportage.com. Find us on social media. You can message us on Instagram or Facebook, and we can then pick up the conversation via phone or email, whatever's easiest and works best. Do a Google Meets chat. Like, we want to interact with you out there listening. We want to share your stories. So be a part of the podcast, and perhaps, you might even come winter camping with us, so long as you're willing to drill the holes, keep them cleaned out, make sure when the tip-up flag goes up that you holler and say, hey, Joe, there's a tip-up up out here. Get the fire going. Set up the tent, please, if you don't mind.
Cut the wood, split the wood, stack the wood, carry the wood, stack it next to it, start the stove, cook us breakfast, not listen to music, Bill, and generally rub our feet, I think, is the maybe a nice addition if you want to be invited back. Am I missing anything?
Cedar on the wood.
Yep.
No punky birch, if that's the thing, probably be outside. So like cedar, wood, and maybe you'd even haul in a couple of nice pieces of wood in your sled, of course. Double trips back to the vehicle after you get the tent and holes set up, that type of stuff.
Send us a text via the sat phone when our camp's ready, and we'd love to spend some time out there with you.
Like to sing when I paddle canoe, feeling not thinking if the strokes are true. We're gonna get through to the other side. Out in the night, the waves beat the shore. You can hear them pounding, you can hear them roar. Oh, roll me, rock me in my dreams. You can roll me, rock me in my dreams. So I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around the campfire light. All around the campfire light. All round, all round, all round the campfire light.